Okay, basically I'm not saying that at all. What I'm telling you is that after having consulted the company's attorney, consulted the Housing Rights Committee.
Which company's attorney? Illuminated Solutions.
Yes.
Is Mr. Grog an employee of Illuminated Solutions?
The exact nature of that can be, well, according to the lease.
Is that nature of what his relationship with your Illuminated Solutions?
I don't think this is the time for, deposition. I think this is the time for explanation.
Okay, yeah, all right, go ahead.
Okay,
sorry,
so we're not in a deposition. Here's basically what I'm supposed to explain to you. According to the Housing Rights Committee, the Human Rights Committee, San Francisco's Tenant Union, and the legal consultations that I've had so far, basically bottom line is, the incident happened on 4 a.m., March 27th in the morning. Okay, so from there, that particular incident, you went ahead and you issued three pages of written explanation and requests. Basically, here's our deal, is that there's been a violation of the Civil Code of Procedure. You've basically wound up fitting the definition for extortion and harassment, and as at that moment, last week, we are in litigation because of it. The Civil Code sections have been violated. I've been advised to go ahead and file a restraining order, temporary restraining order on Shane Grog's behalf. All the rents are being withheld because of the violent nature of the incident. We may have to leave it on a moment's notice and early. You've also made references to the use of the security deposit, which, to be honest with you, doesn't follow the guidelines in the Civil Code section. In the eyes of the law, verbal threats from you constitute harassment.
Okay.
Because you're the landlord. Now,
okay, so proceeding to that, we're in litigation. What exact kind of litigation are we in now? Could you explain that to me? Okay, well that's where it gets all very tacky. Basically, you went ahead and made wrote a letter to us that basically. What do you mean by tacky, by the way? I'm not sure exactly what you're saying.
Well, I mean it's very sticky.
Okay.
You and I have a legal contract. It's a lease for 1 year. I needed that legal contract to obtain certain life goals. Any interruption to that contract is a disruption to those life goals.
There hasn't been any disruption
this is a lot of hours. As a matter of fact, this is a lot of hours.
Well,
this is $500.
You can make what you want out of it. Let's go ahead now. So we're in litigation.
We're in litigation. Basically, you have a restraining order against you. What we're going to
Against, what does that entail?
Temporary restraining order right now just simply means that if you want to contact me, then you and I need to make the time and arrangement. Otherwise, it needs to be in writing, or you need to submit to me in writing when you want to meet me or when you want to call me, and I need to approve that. I believe April 15th, if you and I cannot settle this issue before then, we have to show up for a hearing date to decide if the judge will issue a restraining order against you, which is a far more serious legal document. And
I understand.
Right, you'll be responsible for the fees, and I think they're around $300.
Unless the judgment goes against me, in which case you will be responsible for the fees, according to the terms of our lease.
Yeah, but I wouldn't count on that right now.
So well, I'm not counting on anything. I'm just pointing out that there are,
okay, well,
other variations.
Well, let's talk about liability. As of this moment, you're liable for $11,000.
$11,000.
$11,000. Basically, the rents, we can and are more than willing to pay the rents. However, while this is being decided, bottom line is
you have to pay the rents, or I'm going to do an eviction on you. In fact, based on this conversation, I'm going to have to start an eviction right away.
Right, which will be retaliation and an unlawful eviction because we've already filed against you.
Well, I'll have to consult with the lawyer about
That's
that.
right. So let's start talking about how much this is going to cost. All right, look, the argumentative tone of this conversation is going to go nowhere. You need to understand something right now real quick.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and this is the deal. If you and I cannot settle this, Gabe, Shane, myself, and Jesse are entitled to all hit you up for $5,000 apiece in small claims court for the loss of hours of sleep, the cost of moving, and so forth and so on. Basically, whatever they perceive as damage to their lives, they're able to recoup right now in small claims court as individuals. That's $20,000.
Okay.
The rent basically totals out to around $7,000. That's $27,000 right there. The courts went ahead and gave me a sheet suggesting that you and I participate in arbitration to settle it if we cannot settle it on our own prior to that date. I mean, bottom line is it's real simple. I mean, either you and I quickly come to a way to solve this, terms that are acceptable to us, or filings have to keep going and liability will keep adding up and we're going to wind up in court. And right now, that would be really bad for me. You're already negatively impacting my negotiations with this venture capitalist. So I really want to make sure that we can get that under control right away. I'd like to get the terms for our exit from the tenancy here, negotiated by the 5th. And in the meantime, I'd love it if you just go ahead and confer with your lawyer about the events. Get back to me on it. You really need to talk to an attorney, because you don't get this. Bottom line is that you're the landlord, we're the tenants. Actions have been instituted against us, initiated by you. Those actions have had a direct and negative impact upon each and every one of our lives. We're talking financially, mentally, physically, and in very clear-cut health cases. Okay?
So, and stress syndrome that he experienced from
Mike, we really need to stick with the issues. Bottom line is that right now, we need to discuss how we're going to get the security deposit back and what you want to do about the last 3 months' rent and how you want us to leave.
If you're not going to pay the rent, I'm going to evict you, man. That's all, based on what my lawyer tells me.
You can go ahead and proceed to file any paperwork you choose. I'm telling you at this juncture, because we went ahead and filed before you, that it will be an unlawful eviction and it will be considered as retaliation, and I will move to dismiss it. Look, this conversation just got really unproductive, and I don't have time for this. Bottom line is, you need to consult with your attorney and get back to me by the 5th. I will allow you to call me on the 5th during the entire day. There will be no contact allowed before or after that without you writing me. If you violate the terms of the restraining order and you call me, I have phone records. I will take it down.
Okay, now the restraining order hasn't been put in place yet, has it? Or is this
a temporary stay away?
What is this? A temporary stay away?
Yes. You have basically harassed your tenants. We are in litigation. The remaining terms of the lease have not been discussed since we have gone ahead and been forced to file both a restraining order against you to establish peace and harmony back within the home that you disrupted the peace and harmony of. Okay, basically your actions indicated that you are potentially a dangerous and violent individual, and a temporary restraining order was sought and given. You have broken the law, and in doing so, you are taking me down with you. The things that you have asked me to do, I cannot help you with, because if I do, I incur legal liability.
What things are those now?
You want me to go ahead and, under threat of eviction, take care of Mr. Grog, quiet him down, maybe get him to move on down the road with his dog.
Quiet him down, yes, but
okay, that's extortion.
That's,
under threat of eviction,
no,
that is extortion.
You're the leaseholder, and
under threat of eviction, that is extortion.
He was making too much noise.
Talk to your lawyer and get back to me. This conversation is over. Look, you need to...
Okay, so I did want to talk about the
you want to talk, but you don't want to listen.
For my conversation to you. Well, then why don't you sit down, and I will listen.
Mike, talk to your attorney and call me on the 5th.
All right, well, in other words, you don't want to talk about the substance of anything else, so we'll leave it at that.
I want to reach a settlement, but until you talk to your attorney and you understand what's going on from someone who you feel that you can listen to, there's no point in continuing on with this. All I know is that right now, I've got a serious problem. You're dragging me down with you. I don't appreciate it. I can tell you right now, if you really want to know the round figure that we're talking to this VC about, it's $3 million. I will be suing you for it if any way, shape, or form.
You'll be suing me.